Hi, I'm Judy, and this is Judy's Take. So today, I wanted to kind of do a recap of everything that happened in the election and kind of my take on things that I think are going to happen moving forward. And just kind of come to a stopping point on these videos, because honestly, I started these videos as kind of, pushback on Trump, and now he's gone. We did it, you guys. We did it. Fascism, racism. I mean, it's not over, it's not gone forever. No one's that naive. But we're moving forward. And, I always believed in Joe Biden. And you guys seen that month after month, I was here and I talked about it and about my faith in him and how I thought that he would be what this country needed at the moment. I knew that there needed to be someone in the middle. There needed to be someone. You can't go from one extreme to another. You needed someone who was going to be able to get a lot of those voters, a lot of those disenfranchised voters, who maybe were Democrats beforehand, and then they ended up voting for Trump, especially in the Rust Belt. And, it ended up coming to fruition. I sat there and debated with people, when, Joe Biden seemed to be losing after Iowa, New Hampshire. I sat there and I said, just look at the trends, you guys. Look at the trends. Like, once we hit more diverse places, he's going to shoot up, and that's exactly what happened. Now, a lot of people credit Jim Clyburn, but if you guys had looked at the trends before South Carolina, he was already heading upwards. I think possibly Jim Clyburn gave him maybe, a 5 to 10 point boost. But even before that, before his support behind him, he was already, like, the latest poll, he was already like 15 to 20 points ahead. And then he ended up being like 35 points or something like that. So that's really what it was. What it was is that there was a lot of enthusiasm behind Joe Biden, and everyone was too focused on their selective candidate to realize that this was going on, especially in the Black community and in minority communities to a lesser extent. I saw that in Nevada, where even though I expected Bernie to win that one, because he had been basically campaigning there since after Hillary. But the fact that Joe had came in second, and then people like Pete Buttigieg came in like towards the bottom, that to me really said, like, wow, it's people of diverse background who are going to swing this whole thing. And, obviously, it was it swung a lot harder, and he ended up being the nominee. But fast forward to him, winning the nomination. One of the things that no one even predicted or could have predicted was the pandemic. And honestly, I had said that it was already going to be a pretty hard election to win anyways, you know. And I had even got unfriended by somebody because I said, hey, don't count Trump out, because his supporters, if you think his supporters aren't going to show up for him, you're wrong. And I got called stupid and all this stuff, but I was right. You know, at the end of the day, Trump did get a lot of votes, you know, but it showed that there was more of us than there were of them. And I think they're still coming to understand that, and they still haven't dealt with that, you know, mentally, emotionally, and you know, they just wanted it. And you know, no matter how much they tried, they just couldn't win because there was just not enough of them. And I think that this was a very, you know, like everything that happened just right for Joe. You know, like it almost seemed at some points that like Trump was trying to lose the election. You know, like there was no response to the coronavirus. There was more division whenever, you know, we seen the stuff with George Floyd. He just added fuel to the fire. And honestly, that, I think, like, I knew, like, I don't know, I just knew that it felt different. I knew that this time was different. And, you know, I was right about that. And I'm glad I was right about that. You know, I'm not trying to gloat. I'm just saying that I'm glad that it happened. I'm glad that, well, I'm not glad that some of these horrible things happened, but I'm actually glad that it turned out into positive change. So, you know, obviously he's gone now. And, you know, one of the things I hear from, now moving forward, you know, one of the things I'm hearing from some of my friends is like, oh, you know, people like Cruz and Holly and Lindsey Graham and others, you know, why are they still scared of Trump? You know, and it's like, I don't think that they're scared at all of him, honestly. I think that this is their attempt to try to keep Trump's sycophants. And here's the thing, like, they're playing a ridiculous short game. And I've said it throughout all these videos that they are playing a very, very short game. One of the things about them is they ran on Trump's hate because it won. I've said that before. If you look back through my videos, it won. And it's not that they feared him, is that he was giving them what they wanted, which was power, control. And I knew that once that message or those messages no longer won, that things would be different. Like, they're snakes and they're going to eat their own as soon as they're no longer useful to them. And, you know, that's what you see happening. So the other ones that aren't, you know, like, that's why you see the likes of Mitch McConnell and Liz Cheney starting to move towards the middle, because they know that their party is doomed if they don't make a change. They are really hurt right now. Like, they can't, like, they're coming to this precipice where they're realizing that, well, some of them are realizing that you can no longer be the party of just opposing everything. You know, like, they've literally opposed healthcare, Obamacare, for the last 12 years. And they always said, you know, like, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. We need to get rid of this. We need to get rid of that. We need to get rid of this part. We need to get rid of that part. But there was never any plans to replace it. There was never any plans of their own. You know, they gloat a lot about how, oh, we're the party of ideas. Okay, well, no one has seen them. The only thing that they do now is tell lies and feed into these belief systems that their people have, that are being fed by places like Fox News and Newsmax and OAN and all the fringe, you know, pieces of crap journalists, you know. And you know what? They want to keep doing that. Let them keep doing that. I think a lot of them haven't come to realize that they're screwed. I think that not only are they not going to keep Trump sycophants, but also they have motivated the Democrats to come out and vote. Like this election, I've seen so many more people just on a personal level who were sitting there saying, oh my God, my vote mattered. You know, people who, young people, millennials and below, who never thought, never believed really that their vote actually mattered. Especially like here, for example, being in a red state in Nebraska, everybody here who's, you know, in the middle or to the left, they never believed that their vote actually mattered. But, you know, Nebraska's kind of set up different than everywhere else because we have congressional districts. But they saw that, like, you know, there was a period of time during the election, when the election results were coming in, where it seemed pretty bleak for a while. And it seemed like maybe Omaha, you know, Nebraska District 2, was going to be the one vote that Biden needed to get to the 170 or to the 270. But it ended up not being that way, and when all the results kept coming in, you know, obviously he crushed it, you know. But just seeing that actually motivated a lot of people. And then look at what happened in Georgia. Georgia went blue for the first time in decades. You know, they just voted in their first black senator. Like, that is amazing. And actually, for me, it's kind of pathetic in a way, because the South has a lot of people of color and a lot of black people. And the fact that they are finally being represented, it's pretty pathetic that we're in the year 2021 and that is finally happening. But on the flip side, it's also, I think, telling of where we're going, you know. And, you know, you have such diversity. And maybe it's not the kind of diversity that some of the progressives want. You know, they want diversity of thought. They want, what they're saying by that is they want progressives. But honestly, you guys need to chill on that too, because you don't get to pick out, you know, what black person is the right one for you, or what Hispanic is the right one for you. Like, we're all people of color. So, you know, I think right now where we are where we need to be. We are we're trying to dial it down, and we're trying to get to a point where we're not, you know, we're not seeing each other as the enemies. For the longest time, that's how it was. And honestly, that's going to take a lot of time. But yeah, I think, to go back to what I was saying, I think that that motivation, that inspiration that people saw, I think they're going to carry that with them, you know. in the future, and you had a lot of the youth come out and vote, and that bodes well for the future as well, because they're young and they experienced this, and they a lot of issues that aren't being dealt with the youth, and that is going to motivate them to keep, they saw the positive changes, or what could happen, and so now that's going to motivate them more to come out, to keep coming out. Obviously it's not going to be as big as this election was in future elections, but I think that we're on the uptrend instead of going down. And I don't know, to me that's awesome. I really like everything that Biden is doing so far. I even like the controversial pipeline thing, because honestly, I don't care about whether these companies are making money. They did the wrong thing, okay? First of all, we're moving into green energy, and that's just a reality. That's something that they're going to need to accept. And kind of like when I was in the Army, one of the things was one of the reasons why people would get kicked out was for failure to adapt. And even just as humans, we have survived, we have thrived because we adapted to situations, and is that as a society we have thrived. We're good. And so I come from immigrant parents, and they could have easily decided to stay in Mexico, even though they saw like a dead end, but instead they were like, we're going to take the chance. They went somewhere, like my dad went, he had $7 in his pocket when he came to America. He didn't speak the language, and it was just running on the hope and the idea of America. I see so many people that feel disillusioned for America because they see, people like Trump and the white supremacists and this and that. But you know what? They're not America. They can never be America. America is an idea. America is, is what people look up to in the world. And even after these 4 years, I think that they still look up to us. And yes, there's some damage done, and I am confident that Biden is going to repair some of that damage. But it's going to take continued work. It's going to take continued work for a lot of things. For example, we figured out that, there's cracks in our foundation. And like I was saying in one of my videos, Trump came in and he just, was taking a sledgehammer to the foundations, and he was trying to knock them down. And his people were trying to knock them down, and just look at what happened on January 6th. But our foundation stayed strong. They withstood that beating, and we're still here. And honestly, I think we're still going to be here for a very long time, because now that we see some of the cracks, I'm actually glad that some of these things happened, because now we're going to see where we need to repair these things, and then going back to the pipeline thing, another point about that is, have we not taken enough land from the Native American people? I think it's a travesty, honestly. And I think we need to give them that respect. So I'm totally for it, you know. If you disagree, you disagree. But for me, their land and clean water is more important than jobs lost. You know what? Adapt. Adapt or fail. And I know that sounds brutal, but that's just how it is. You know, that's just how it is. I mean, nobody's going to leave you out in the dust. They're telling you that they're going to try to teach you how to do these green energy jobs. So take those opportunities. Take them. And not only are you going to be better off, but so is our environment. And so, you know, so is all these people who have to do with this too. So, but anyways, I know there's a lot more things that are in the works. You know, I know that, you know, like for example, I was remarking about just the symbolism of about you know, how Biden is putting, you know, a lot of Hispanics also at the forefront and saying, you know, we got you. And we're going to make a path for citizenship. And you no longer have to be afraid. You know, I think that people here forget just how much the Hispanic community, and especially Mexicans, because we are the majority Hispanic community here, how much we contribute to this society. Because even if they are undocumented, they are still making that money, and they're not getting taxes back, and they're not getting Social Security either, and they don't get student loans. That's the thing. Like, they live in the shadows making us money, you know, and yet they're treated like less than, you know. We're gonna find solutions to a lot of these challenges instead of backing away from them, instead of demonizing these people, instead of demonizing all people. Look at it. I was always against the Muslim ban. I thought it was just straight crap. You know, freedom of religion, my ass. All they wanted was freedom of Christianity, to be able to impose that on others. We are not a Christian nation. We're not. If you actually look back in history, if you actually take a couple of college classes, not trying to demean anybody, I'm just saying, get yourself educated, knowledgeable. Most of the founding fathers were agnostic, you know, where they believed there might be a higher power, but they weren't sure. It wasn't like they came from a place where they were forced to pray the way that, you know, the monarchy prayed. And why on earth would you think that they would want that? Why on earth would you think that they would want that here? They didn't. They wanted you to be able to do whatever the hell you want. Pray to whoever the hell you want. Or not pray. You know? And you know, there's that American dream. I believe in it wholeheartedly. You know, me, the daughter of a Mexican immigrant, I have made a life for myself, and I'm not done. You know, I graduated last year with a master's degree. And I didn't even learn English until I was about 10 years old. You know, I was born in Chicago. I was raised in the hood. You know, I was raised in K-Town, Carlo Street. I was a little Mexican girl from the hood. Everything was stacked against me. Everything. You know? I was a teenage parent. I was pregnant at 16, had a kid at 17. I dropped out of high school. Everything was literally stacked against me. I was a single parent. I lived in the streets. Like, not like, hey, I'm hard, I lived in the streets. No, like, I literally lived in the street. Like, I slept in my car at a point in time. And look at me now. I'm sorry, but that is only possible here in America. And that is why I love this place. That is why I served my country. Because I love it. I love this place. And I'm glad that we have a president now who loves this country as much as I do, and who understands the issues and the concerns and that people like me have, you know, who aren't well off yet, who have student loan debts, who have different cultural beliefs, and yet he includes us, you know, and that is awesome. And, you know, we have the first woman vice president ever. And not just that, but she's half black and half South Asian. How amazing is that, you know? And I think that this is just going to open the door for more diversity. And I'm ready for that. I'm ready for that. And I think that the whole country is ready for that, honestly. I think that the ones on the right are going to move more towards the middle, because they need to. I think that it's up to the leaders in their party to lead them there. Now, it's not going to happen overnight, but I think that the more that they see that, you know, we're pushing for diversity, we're pushing for just the betterment of our society, we're pushing for them to see us, hear us, acknowledge us, and deal with our concerns as well. I think that they're no longer, you know, going to be able to just push us aside and just say, you know, whatever, screw you, I'm going to go with this message because it gets me votes. I don't think that it's going to be as easy for them to get votes anymore like that. I think they're actually going to have to come up with their own ideas on how to address a lot of the concerns that all of us have, you know, and I'm hopeful. And I feel like the mission was accomplished. I feel like there's a lot of positive changes that are happening. You know, yes, they're slow. That's how it is. Progress is slow. But we're actually moving in the right direction finally, after 4 long, horrible years. So be happy. Be hopeful. Hold your representatives accountable. Keep speaking out. And I might do some videos from time to time, but I'm not going to be on here regularly. And I just really appreciate you guys, you know, how you guys have supported me and even commented on my Facebook and told me how much you like my videos and everything. And that's been awesome, you know. I want to keep doing this, but, you know, I don't feel like there's that need to do it, you know. And I think we're in good hands, you guys. I don't feel like I need to speak up anymore. I feel like we're in good hands, you know, and believe that, because we are. And just keep doing what you guys have been doing. Keep fighting the good fight. Get into good trouble. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. I'll leave you guys with a little clip of 2 days ago when Biden was inaugurated. 2-3 days ago, something like that. I took a little short clip and I was very emotional, but this is how I feel. And I'll just leave you with that. And thank you so much for all your support, for watching. And I will see you guys very, very soon, either here or on my Facebook or, you know, wherever. So thank you guys.
Amen.
Hey you guys, this is happening. This is happening. Joe Biden's freaking president today. This is awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I'll have my
remain
analysis
standing
later.
for the presentation of our national colors by the Armed Forces